No,
Be with you in just a moment.
of course you didn't.
I'm trying to figure out what button to push.
Well, would have been better.
So you are Dr. Schnapp. Music scores that are earworms.
Excuse me, good Friday morning. We're having way too much fun here.
Is this Good
in
Friday?
the KRIM studios here, 3 minutes past 10 o'clock. We're already up to 57 degrees
That's
and
eight.
looking for a high today up around 70. And of course, if you notice all the noise in the background, that's because I haven't turned their microphones on yet.
That's a good plan.
It's another Friday with your hometown movie guys. Oh my gosh, they're singing now. Tina, Craig, and Andy with us in the studio. How y'all doing this morning? I just realized that there was a microphone left up in here earlier. It's like, ooh, that's interesting. Well, anyway, I don't think we said anything too
Happy
terribly.
belated St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah. Luck of the Irish to you as well, or whatever that is. I don't know.
Well, you know, there's somebody said way back in the day, there are two kinds of people. Those who are Irish and those who wish they were.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm Norwegian.
Yeah, well.
I'm used to that cod that surpasses all understanding.
Oh.
Known as lutefisk. Yes. Nasty stuff. Anyway, so this morning we're talking about movies at the Sawmill Theaters, and of course, now you have anything new starting this week? I know you had a couple last week.
No, we don't. No.
But you had 2 last week, so that's pretty.
Yeah.
In this COVID day and age, that was kind of a new trend.
A little bit of we're giving it a break here this week.
Yeah.
We got 2 films though coming in for next Friday, and then 2 for the following week. So
neat.
We'll flip this stuff here pretty quick.
All right, and so of the 2 new films that started this last week, they were once again.
Yeah. What did we do last week? Was let's see, The Father and
Chaos Walking.
Chaos Walking.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, and how's they been doing? Been getting some people out. I mean,
You know,
I was really encouraged last week because you were saying it looked like things were starting to get back to normal as far as numbers again.
Yeah, no, actually, we've been having that trend is continuing.
That's a good thing.
It's really been led by Raya and The Last Dragon, the Disney Pixar film that's just
Right.
that everyone's liking, adults, kids, everybody's really enjoying that film.
Mm-hmm.
The Father's done okay. It just came out. Nominations came out on Monday for the Academy Awards.
Right.
And The Father came in with six nominations.
6 Academy Awards.
Including
Wow.
Best Picture and Best Actor.
Wow.
For Anthony Hopkins. But it's dementia.
Right.
So it's a
That's
little bit of
a
a
tough subject.
It is a tough subject. Yeah. It doesn't. I guess it doesn't really pull any.
Or is it? I forgot.
Why am I laughing?
I don't
I'm
know.
laughing because
Us chronologically challenged people, we scoff at this sort of stuff.
well, we are
We ought
looking.
not.
We are looking at perhaps an administration that is embodying this problem. So yes,
Well stated.
yes,
Well
and we'll
stated.
just move on.
And we'll all just read between those lines.
So it's a tough subject matter. So some people are. Not everyone really wants to watch that.
Okay.
I guess same thing. We had our friend that was out here a couple months ago that was Dakota Johnson with cancer.
Mm.
And again, these are tough subjects, and some people.
Boy, that was really a good movie.
Oh, we loved it.
That
We loved it.
I did have a little eye leakage on that one.
Yeah, me
It may
too.
shock you guys. I didn't have a chance to see that one yet.
Well,
I know.
And by the way, Randy, I'm just tip top. Thanks for asking.
Hey, I'm glad to hear that. I could tell just by the way you were sitting here. That's why I didn't ask.
He's got a new shirt on.
Yeah. Who did you borrow that one from?
He doesn't have
This
any
used,
cats or
this used,
pizzas
to,
on his.
this used to be Bruce's, but now it's mine.
Sorry, Bruce.
Oh, thank you, Bruce.
Bruce
There you
Almighty.
go. Well, hey, we need to say, by the way, golly, we got to say good morning to Johnny, Michael, Beverly, Linda, and Michael and Beverly again. Anyway, folks joining us on Facebook Live, so you can always listen to the first half hour of the Friday morning with the Hometown Movie Guys here on KRIM, or you can actually watch along with us on Facebook Live for an entire hour, and you'll find it mesmerizing or something.
I find it odd.
You might find it odd too.
That we have an hour show that's only on the radio for a half an hour.
Yeah.
What do you do with the other half an hour? It's just filled up with like rock and roll or something,
Yeah.
right?
Well, today it'll be filled up with things like Huey Lewis in the News, Kenny
I like
Loggins,
Huey
Pearl
Lewis.
Jam, and Queen. So
Well,
We,
Oh, yeah.
Freddie.
like Kenny Loggins too.
we are the Simians. No, it's not.
Kenny Loggins has got a song about baseball. Catfish.
Oh, okay, cool. So anyway, meanwhile, back at the movies.
Who knew?
Now, you
And,
did your classic.
And then Chaos Walking is
Chaos
the other
Walking.
one, and that's a sci-fi one.
Speaking
that-
of chaos,
Yeah.
right?
And if anybody's interested, they can gaze in today's Pace and Roundup,
Right?
and on page 9, and read my review of Chaos Walking.
And so, how many saw blades did you throw at that?
Let me look at it. Let's see.
Yeah,
Here.
it's been so long ago, I'm sure you don't recall.
Let's see.
Speaking of dementia.
It's a little bit of a strange sci-fi movie, but
Yeah.
the critics were sort of lukewarm on it. But
Not me. I liked
yeah,
it.
most
Really?
people,
Yeah.
most people that watch it liked it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I thought it was like, you know, any science fiction movie, if you kind of dissect the setup, it just doesn't hold water. It doesn't make any sense. But once you get past that, and with all sci-fi movies, you have to get past that, or just utterly ignore it, or you're not going to enjoy the movie. But once you get past that, it's great. I mean, it really is. It's very interesting and intricate, and it's exciting too. I found myself, you know, kind of sitting on the edge of my seat, wondering, what, oh my goodness, are the bad guys going to get the good guys? What's going to happen? And it was really quite satisfying.
Yeah,
We
interesting.
need to get that guy to do a pitch meeting on it.
Yeah, that'll be really funny. And Randy, I want to speak to you particularly on this. This is the setup. Okay, there's a planet out in outer space.
A few of them, actually.
On this planet, there are only men,
Yeah, that sounds like a problem.
and the reason that there are only men there is because the men have a halo about them, sort of, that demonstrates their thoughts. So you just see what they're thinking about. But women did not have that handicap. So they
They all left the planet.
you know, I won't give away a plot
Okay, right.
thing, but imagine that. Imagine a planet where men don't understand what women are thinking about.
That sounds like Earth to me.
But women have no problem whatsoever interpreting what men are thinking about at any given moment.
Or maybe just assuming.
Well, no,
Oh,
they
no,
don't
they
assume
actually
it.
know.
They can see it.
So they actually see the
They can
words.
actually-
Yeah, oh, wow.
Yeah, it's not like we're complicated.
There's some truth to that, yeah.
Oh, look, my husband's hungry. Oh, look, my husband's watching the ball game. Well, there you are.
Oh, look, he won't get off the couch for at least 3 hours.
Yeah. Those are the two emotions that men have: baseball and hunger.
I think you missed
Yeah.
out one that we are,
We can't talk about that.
well, we're not talking about it, we can allude to it. Haha.
Okay. We go so many directions with this right
I
now.
don't even remember about that stuff.
By the way, good morning
Super easy,
to Ernestina.
Convenience.
Good morning to Luisa, Layla, Juan, Ernestina, Ulysses, and Laura. Shannon also joined us this morning on
Hi, Louisa.
Facebook Live. Excuse me, they all choked up when I talk about this stuff. So, now getting back to the two movies
I'm
that just
sorry.
started this last week, have they done well locally in the local theater?
They've done okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing. Like you said, both are, you know, Chaos Walking and The Father both have some, I guess, limited marketability.
Well, you know, it's not everyone's going to want to.
Not everyone wants to see them. Yeah. Like I say, you know, Raya the Last Dragon has been doing great. That's actually kind of leading the way. We still have Tom and Jerry, you know, another kids one.
Right.
So people are really coming out for that stuff right now,
Mhm.
for the kids movies. And then rounding that out is, you know, Land and Nomadland.
Well, no. So you've watched Father?
No.
The Father? Yeah. You haven't seen it yet yourself.
It sounds perhaps
The
that
look-
he doesn't intend to.
The look on his face kind of makes me think that that may never happen.
Well, I'm one of those people. Yeah. But it's very interesting. They did they kind of switched the characters around.
Right.
So like the person playing his daughter, they're showing his confusion. They're kind of showing it from his side. The dementia is taking a hold of him.
Right.
So they switch the characters around. To show how he's confused.
Right.
Those things and.
Has anyone here seen that movie yet?
No, I'll be seeing it today.
I'm anxious to get your input on that. The reason I'm asking is, going along with what you were saying, Craig, is that I know in my family, we had a family member that we took care of that had kind of advanced dementia there towards the end, and that was difficult. It's a long series of goodbyes, and so for me, going and seeing that movie might be not something that I'd be anxious to unless I knew that maybe there's a great moral to the story or something like that, and so I'm anxious to get the report next week.
I said it's just a difficult subject,
Yeah, it is.
and some people might have gone through something where they just can't watch it right now.
Right. Well, and having spent a lot of time in disasters, I have a hard time watching disaster movies because I'm either like saying that wouldn't happen that way, but I'm picking it apart that way, or it's bringing back memories of weirdness that I've experienced, and it just rather go watch something that just makes me laugh or something.
Like History of the World Part 1.
There you go.
That'll make you laugh.
Sure, why not? Or I think we need to have like a
Often overlooked.
Blazing Saddles, reunion at the Sawmill Theater. So I bet we could get everybody.
Yeah, we did do that.
We
Is that
did
right?
do that.
Oh, yeah.
Did you get everybody to show up?
Oh,
Where the heck was I?
That was back in the day when we
Oh.
had the classic movies and nobody was wearing a mask and we were all social.
And laughing.
It was the golden age.
It was okay to
Okay.
laugh out loud.
Yeah, it was great.
We are set up. It'll be April 3rd.
Mm-hmm.
Is West Side Story.
Oh, West Side Story.
So
Wow.
that'll be our classic 10 a.m.
That's cool.
Saturday morning. Yeah, that's our next classic. We're starting to get that going again. We did Sound of Music, this month, and everyone voted again. We got that going. So
And they went for West Side Story.
West Side Story. Yeah. So yeah, if you will come out and watch West Side Story on the 3rd, then
Bring
you
your
get to
Kleenex.
kind of put in your input for the next one.
Very cool.
Getting that stuff going.
And, I'd be kind of curious too, those of you that are following along with us on Facebook Live, if you could just chime in with maybe a movie that you'd like to see, just to give us an interesting thought there. We'd like to hear you. By the way, good morning to Nicole over there from Black and Tan.
Hi, Nicole.
She just said hi.
Nicole, we love you.
And so is Shannon. So thanks for joining along with us. Now, what else? I'm sorry.
With the classic movies, if you go to the classic movies, Craig lets you vote and choose the moviegoers choose what the next movie is.
Right.
And the moviegoers seem to like the musicals.
Yeah.
West Side Story following Sound of Music.
Well, and the quality of the audio in theaters these days is so much different than it was when West Side Story first came out. That even the old Cine Capri down in Phoenix, which was like kind of the quintessential big theater back in the day many days ago. They had a good sound system, but it still doesn't compare to the kind of digital stuff that we have going on now.
Speaking of musicals, we just confirmed for next Friday, the 26th, Lamb of God.
Ooh,
It's a
just in time for Easter.
Just in time for Easter, yeah. It's the last week of Jesus Christ, but it's an orchestrated, kind of an orchestrated musical with video clips mixed into it, and it looks good. And like you said, we're going to run that for 2 weeks, week before Easter and the week after.
Lamb of God. Now, how long ago did this first come out?
That's a new one.
It is brand new.
This is a new
Really?
one. Yeah.
Wow, I'm anxious to see it. So it's kind of, I hate to use the term rock opera because it makes people think about like
Yeah,
Jesus Christ Superstar, which they kind of like missed the whole
Yeah,
point in that one.
No. This is a classical orchestra.
Right. Very interesting. That would be, I'd like to see that.
Sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
And that's going to be just on a regular schedule for
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah, we'll go 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 7 o'clock on that one.
Nice. Lamb of God. And that starts next week.
Next Friday.
Nice.
Look forward to that.
Next Friday, along with Nobody.
Nobody.
That's from the producers of John Wick. So you can.
Wow.
It's just going to be a guy just creaming bad guys. It's going to be
Just
awesome.
beating up the bad guys.
Now see, that's Craig. Craig will
Oh,
see
we
that.
all
No,
need-
no dementia. for
We,
him.
we all need that one right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we-
that's-
yeah.
Yeah, because Lord knows there's plenty of bad guys out
Probably
there.
need to do that
Just,
right now. Yeah.
Kind of
So, looking at the rest of the movies that are rounding out this week's slate, what else do we have playing this week? Just for
The
people
other,
to
was
play.
kind of the last one, Nomadland.
Yeah.
This is another one. Nominations came out Monday. This one had 6 Academy Award nominations.
Filmed over in Quartzsite with real
Yeah.
nomads.
Yeah,
So, yeah,
Absolutely.
So a lot of it in Arizona.
and Frances McDormand is amazing.
Nominated for
Yeah.
Best Actress.
Why?
Because she literally becomes the person that she's playing. I forgot it was she. I've seen her in a lot of different movies. And she's just so, it's so believable and so three-dimensional. You really, I got really involved in her character and really, being a woman who's getting older and, looking at that kind of, okay, what's she choosing to do in the sort of moving into the twilight? And how does she feel about things? I
Right.
thought it was so poignant and so beautiful.
And McDormand, I bet, doesn't have 2 pages of dialogue in the whole movie.
Right,
Really?
And the
Yeah.
rest of it is just her
yeah,
acting.
yeah.
And I mean, just imagine that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just,
So there isn't like a volleyball with
No,
this
no.
name Wilson in this or anything?
No,
Okay.
it's just, it's so
Wilson.
visual. And all of these other people, and apparently they enlisted real people who are in this kind of outside of normal society circuit, who live in their RVs, who one guy, I forget his name, but he was the sort of guru, he would hold
Yeah.
seminars. He's a real person.
he's a real guy.
Yeah, and it's an extraordinary movie. It really is.
I have a brother he and his wife have been living in a motorhome for the past, I think, 6 years out in
Oh,
Florida.
yeah.
But it's like a 40-foot diesel pusher with
Sure.
5 slides, and I mean,
Right.
it's not, you're not really feeling like you're camping a whole lot, but
Right.
they seem to love that, and I
Right.
talked to him the other day, and he said that they plan on just doing that for the rest of their life if they can get away with
Right.
it, so.
Well, she has a renovated bus, so it's very low, low tech, low
Right,
gain.
right.
But she's just wonderful. I would watch her in anything.
Wow, very interesting.
And as Tina said, the peek into that subculture
Yes.
is pretty interesting for those that don't participate in it. We don't really know too much about it. Everybody kind of is marginally aware of the great encampment at Quartzsite on an annual basis.
Mhm.
But unless we go, we don't really know about it.
Quartzsite's really not on my way to anywhere.
No.
You gotta want to go to Quartzsite. I mean, even if you're just
Well, if you're driving to California.
if you're driving over to LA, I mean, but you still gotta go a little bit out of your way.
True that.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
That's not one of those places that really speaks to me. But
Well, it's
it'd be
also a
interesting.
rock, a big place for rocks, for people.
Right.
And that's really fascinating too.
During the winter, yeah.
Yeah, during the winter.
And during the winter, it's a big place for sweat.
You mean the
It's
summer?
in summer.
Or summer, rather. Excuse me.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Winter, summer.
Do you want to
yeah.
go to the movies with me today? There's this new movie out called The Father. I think you'd enjoy it.
What?
And by the way, the Golden Globes gave Nomads Best Picture and Best Director.
Wow.
Yep. Yeah. What's her name?
And Golden Globe's always kind of a precursor to supposedly,
Well,
allegedly.
often it points the way. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then the other movie that you mentioned, The Father, also is getting a lot of Academy Award.
Yeah,
Attention.
both Nomadland and The Father both nominated for Best Picture.
Wow.
Wow.
And both of these are what Craig calls thinkers.
Yes.
And
Not to be confused with some of the stuff that we've had for the past few months, which are called stinkers.
Oh.
No, yeah, the other one too, Nomadland, probably it's last week.
Right.
Now we got those 2 films coming in, so
Nice.
I think probably Nomadland and right now it's looking like Land will be gone Thursday.
Oh, wow.
So if you're wanting to see either one of those,
Get out there and do it too.
get out here and do it. And we're open Monday this week too.
Oh, cool.
With
So you really are getting back to normal.
yeah, we opened on Monday for spring break, and we're going to look at that. I think we're going to be able to go ahead and just stay open then. So we'll just be closed Tuesday and Wednesday until May, and then once we hit May, we're going to have to go back to our full schedule.
Real quick, good morning to Abel, Pamela, Zach, Sherry,
Hi, Zach.
Barbara, Jasmine, and Sandy all joining us on
Yay.
Facebook Live. Appreciate you stopping in as we talk to the hometown movie guys here. And
Land, directed by and starring Robin Wright.
Yes.
Robin Wright.
Yep. You'll remember her from The Princess Bride.
Yes, she was Princess Buttercup.
Oh.
Yeah.
She was also
I think
Jenny.
I ran into him
She's
down at
right.
the corner
Jenny.
bar one night.
Yeah, Jenny and Forrest Gump.
Oh,
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
yes, yes.
Mhm.
Jenny.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she was also married to Sean Penn for a while.
Really?
Yes, she was.
Terrible human too. Jenny. Jenny was an awful character.
Yeah, she
Oh,
was,
yeah, yeah.
It was.
Chemical additives.
Yeah.
And then we can talk
And
about
then
Sean
she
Penn.
died.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was a real killer role in that movie.
Oh.
Anyway, the bottom line is there any movie playing yet that we haven't talked about playing currently?
I think we got them all.
Running it out, okay. And you have 2 new ones coming next week.
Next week, Nobody and Lamb of God.
All right, so
And don't forget, in Chaos Walking is Daisy Ridley
Daisy
Oh,
Ridley.
yeah.
Tom Holland.
and Tom
Yeah,
Holland.
Tom Holland.
You've seen references to Spider-Man?
Yes.
Okay, Tom Holland is the current Spider-Man. He's just a young actor.
Mhm.
And he oddly enough, in Chaos Walking, he plays quite a young man. And Daisy Ridley is in real life is a young woman in her 20s, and she plays a young woman in this as well. So it's kind of a young person's movie, except for Mads Mikkelsen, who is a grown-up and a real mean person.
A real mean person. Okay.
Maybe.
Very interesting. All right, so get on out there and check it out. Again, if you ever want to find out what's playing and when it's playing, all you have to do is go online to sawmilltheaters.com, and you can check out all the different movies and what time they're playing and all that kind of good stuff. And as well, what's coming up next, and as far as the classic movie Saturdays, you got all that stuff listed on your webpage as well.
It is, yeah. Tomorrow, actually, yeah. Tomorrow we're doing Exodus, Patterns of Evidence.
Oh,
Kind of what's a part of our faith-based film festival.
right.
But this is kind of more of a documentary on evidence for the Exodus.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
as
something.
as a matter of fact, just this week, there was news stories out about some biblical text found in a cave.
Oh yeah, Dead Sea
over there,
Scrolls. Yeah, more scrolls.
was old biblical text from
Yeah.
2,000 years ago or so.
Yeah,
It's
or-
like,
or-
wow.
One of the minor prophets, the fragment.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh yeah, the scroll. Yeah, I think that was the
Yeah.
scroll of the minor prophets. Or
Yeah, well, I can't remember which one it was.
But that'd be fascinating. So, I mean, a documentary, which I'm kind of a documentary nut. I love watching docs. And this is going to be
10
coming
a.m. 10 a.m. $5. One day only. Tomorrow.
tomorrow, 10 o'clock
Just
in the morning.
tomorrow, 10 a.m. Yeah.
Right.
And popcorn for breakfast is just fine.
That's right. All part of a well-imbalanced diet. Outstanding. Well, I tell you what.
You know, there's a lot of interesting stuff about the Exodus that they've found. I saw a documentary one time where they took them on the whole journey from Egypt and out through the desert and then into the Holy Land, and each of the miracles was examined, and they tried to reconcile the miracle with science, and by golly, they could. I mean, the burning bush had a scientific explanation. The manna had a scientific explanation.
Sure.
Of course, the Sinai is one of the great pathways for migratory birds, and there's one place where they find a lot of doves to eat, which was handy.
Yeah.
Okay, here you are. And it was very interesting. I'm not familiar with the one that's coming up tomorrow.
I'm kind of anxious to see that. That sounds interesting. You know, I think I've mentioned it before, but I for years living here in Payson, have enjoyed out hiking, looking at some of the indigenous ruins that are around here. From I think most of those, if I remember correctly, ranged from about the 800s to 1300s. And I always thought that was kind of fascinating. And there's some that are in a little bit better shape than others. There's some cliff dwellings that I'm not going to tell you where they are because people will go spray paint Billy Loves Susie on them. But there's some neat things to go see. But then over in Albania, I've been there twice, and the first time was during the Kosovo War. There was a partially excavated Roman era Colosseum that I was able to actually climb down into this hold of the excavation and see stone mosaic ceilings with human figures and Christian symbols and stuff.
Oh boy!
And then when I went back this last time, on another disaster trip. The excavation was pretty much all done, and it's just something that you can go tour now. But it's a Roman era Colosseum that they theorize this is where Titus in the Bible was martyred.
Wow.
And
Oh, for
to
heaven's sake.
just sit there and look around at this stuff was I mean, something. I mean, it was really mood altering. But the first time when it was actually climbing down in this hole and looking around, we didn't really plan on going into this place. We just had heard about it, and we were wanting something to do before we had to leave the country on our way out, and stopped in to take a look at this. And the only light we had was I had a cigarette lighter with me, and so we're walking through,
Before cell phones?
Oh man, I tell you what, it was it was weird, but I don't know. Once you go see places like that, and then you come back and you see the stuff here, it's like, maybe this isn't quite as cool as I thought it was.
There's a movie on Netflix right now called The Dig, which is a true story about a woman who lived on a large estate in England, and she hired a guy who was not a recognized scholar from the universities, and this is back in the day where you had to have your credentials or you were kind of dismissed.
Mhm.
And it's Ray Fiennes and I forget the main actress, but they excavated a Viking ship
Ooh.
on her property, and it is such a great movie.
Mm.
Yeah,
That would
and
be
true
fascinating.
story. Yeah,
I like the idea of pulling in a documentary like that once in a while. I think it's a
Yeah.
great idea.
yeah.
Well, that's one I've been kicking that one around here. Actually, kind of starting. We got the classic movies are the first Saturday of the month, and our faith-based film is the third Saturday of the month. That second Saturday of the month is open.
Mm.
So I've been kind of thinking maybe starting a documentary series there to just
I think that's a
about
fascinating idea.
some
Yeah.
just various topics, I guess, and then throw in there and see if people actually want to come out and see them.
Very cool.
Right.
It's nice to have a variety.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we got to get back to music here on KRIM. Again, if you want to find out what's playing and when it's playing at the Sawmill Theaters, just go online to sawmilltheaters.com. Coming up here on the radio, though, we've got Huey Lewis in the news, Kenny Loggins, Pearl Jam, Queen, and a whole bunch more coming up. But first, a quick look at Rim Country weather.
Now here's the KRIM weather forecast.
thing I gotta do is
for Houston and
check and
surrounding
see.
areas. I'm nowcast meteorologist Jim Vaughn. For today, sunny skies.
Okay, we are still on.
60s.
I thought maybe we shut down there for a second.
What do you think?
Okay,
They
so
are there.
Well, they're
what about,
waking Nickelback.
we were talking about earworms earlier.
Well, yeah, we were also thinking of mentioning Irish movies because this was
St.
just
Patrick's
St.
Day.
St. Patty's Day, right?
And Craig says how many are there, and I have to think about it. But you know what? It's a rich culture, and
What was that
Yeah.
John Wayne thing?
The Quiet
oh,
Man.
The Quiet
Quiet Man,
Man,
yeah.
wonderful.
There was
Yeah.
at another radio station somewhere in the world. I worked for a while doing a talk show, and we did a question to our listening audience one day of favorite movie of all time, and they've got a variety of different bits of input, but The Quiet Man, people mentioned the highest number of times that they thought that was the best movie, and this is going to shock you, but I had never seen it, and so I had to go see it, and I say, what a departure for John Wayne. I mean, that is not your typical Will Pilgrim sort of deal. I mean, a very
That's a
different.
wonderful movie.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah,
And not at all what I would ever have expected from John Wayne.
right.
Yeah, and the look into Irish culture at that time, and I don't know how much it's changed since then. I assume, like the rest of the world, it's changed utterly. But that was, for me, that was the best part of the movie. There's one scene in there where John Wayne literally drags Katharine Hepburn back to her brother's house, I
Katharine
believe.
Hepburn or Maureen O'Hara?
Same thing.
Oh man, you when you go see The Father, you need to make sure somebody
Somebody goes with me.
chaperones you. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it was Maureen.
I think it was Maureen
Yeah.
O'Hara because she was Irish.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
drags her back to her brother's house. And it's after they're married.
Yeah.
And returns her.
Yes.
I want my money back.
Yeah,
That's right,
exactly.
exactly, the dowry.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I want my money back.
Yeah.
And and what makes it so great is,
They actually give the money back.
no, Maureen O'Hara smiles the most knowing smile when he does this. And, oh my God, was that something?
Huh. Very interesting.
Yeah. So if you're thinking of Irish movies,
Irish
one
movies.
of my favorites is Waking Ned Devine.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
Probably the
that-
best movie ever made.
Well, you know, except for
Waking
the
Ned
other
Devine.
ones that you've said that about. But I mean, I understand why you're saying it. It's a lovely movie. It is, and with these two old guys, who both of whom I think have passed on now, but you know, they're the star of the movies, and they're so irreverent and funny and Irish. I mean, wonderful.
Yeah, everything is just sideways from
Yeah.
our way of thinking about things. It's are typically
Yeah.
Irish, however.
Yeah. Well, and then what is the movie? It's about, and it's about an Irish group. Oh, come on.
The
It's not
It's not-
It's not Clonard. It's
no,
another.
it's not the
YouTube?
Champions. It's
It's
the
yeah.
it's the name of the band, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a C band. It begins with a C.
It's
The
a-
Commitments.
The Commitments. Oh, that's a good movie. Lots of
You haven't seen that one either?
Oh my God, that is
Don't
so
believe I've ever even
good.
heard of it.
Oh
Yeah,
boy, is
yeah.
it good!
It's got all kinds of wonderful music and.
The Commitments.
Yes, The Commitments, which was a real band.
Was it?
Well, no, I think maybe it was a movie band that real band members played in. I'll have to look it up, but yeah.
And the setup is that there's this essentially an Irish hustler,
Mhm.
and he hustles a band by blatantly and outrageously lying to the band members about his musical expertise and his long history in the music business, which did not exist. And was it Otis Redding?
Ah.
But
think
part of his
He tries to form an R&B band.
in
right?
Ireland.
In Ireland, but then he ends up with all white guys.
Well,
you know,
because it's
because it's
Ireland.
Ireland, right? Yeah, but I think is Otis Redding in that?
well,
Did he, or
it's somebody. I can't remember if it's Otis Redding or
yeah.
but somebody. And this was
There's a
one-
great scene of him sitting by the dock at the bay there.
Yeah. There's
Well, the featured song is "Try a Little Tenderness."
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, and he did that. Yeah, Otis
Huh.
Redding sang that.
So this hustler tells everybody that he and Otis Redding were buds, and Otis Redding comes to Dublin, and so
Right.
that's how he convinces these people to, because he's got no money to pay them with, he's got no experience as a band manager, nothing. He does it all from his
Baloney.
baloney, his blarney.
Blarney.
Yeah, but it's a great movie.
It's a wonderful,
It-
and the music is.
and the music is
to die
terrific.
for.
Yeah,
Huh.
Yeah,
The Commitments. I'll have to try.
Yeah.
I imagine that's something you can probably get on Netflix or whatever. Can you?
somewhere,
How long ago did this movie come out?
91,
91.
yeah.
30 years ago, my
Yeah.
goodness gracious.
91, yeah.
Seems like only
I
yesterday.
know, when you say 90-something, it seems just.
91 doesn't seem like 30 years ago.
No, I
Gosh.
know.
It's getting old ain't for sissies.
Yeah.
There was a PBS series, wonderful as many of them are, called the Irish RM. And this is set back prior to World War I in Ireland. And an RM in Ireland in those days, of course, this was under, all of Ireland was under British administration. And the RM was a resident magistrate.
Hmm.
And in the movie, the RM was a retired British Army fellow. So he's used to Army discipline, he's used to regular order, he's used to logic and the achievement of goals and that sort of thing. And he's plunked off in rural Ireland someplace, and none of that applies. And he just has a fit trying to deal with the Irish. who aren't interested in any of that business at all. And it's hilarious, and it goes on for, I don't know, it's a big, long series, but it's really, really funny.
Well, you know, and instead of going back 30 years to a movie then, I'm going back just 29 years, Far and Away,
Yep, I was just gonna say that with Tom Cruise and
and
Nicole
Nicole Kidman, yeah.
And that was before Nicole Kidman got all hagged out. She was really pretty back then.
Ooh, wow.
Did she get all hagged out?
No,
I was gonna say,
Terrible.
I don't know.
Right.
No, I'm just.
apparently I've got something different in my
No.
coffee.
Right.
No, I'm just kidding. I saw her in a movie recently, and she's
And
just terrific.
Michael Collins is another one with Liam Neeson, and
Oh,
that was I think about a labor dispute.
Michael Collins
think,
was
yeah.
the Irish Revolutionary leader.
Yes, yes.
of course, another one that's got kind of an Irish theme to it, The Departed.
Yep, with Leonardo.
Leonardo DiCaprio
Yeah.
what's his face?
That's-
Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's kind of
Matt Damon.
Yep,
that's about one of the Irish
It's the
colonies.
same people.
yeah.
Matt Damon and Mark Wahlberg are,
Yeah.
They're the same people, the
yeah.
same person.
Yeah.
You never see them
Yeah,
together.
it's,
And the Departed isn't actually in Ireland, or it's in the Irish colony of
Right.
Boston.
that's where you
Right.
get is it an Irish film or just a film with Irish people in it?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Because I think as far as an Irish film, there'd be a lot smaller number of films to talk about. Another
then
one would
there's
be
one
The
that-
Gangs of New York. Would be
Oh,
another
I
one,
was
too.
just gonna say that, the Gangs of New York.
Another Irish colony.
With Daniel Day-Lewis, and, you know, when the Irish came to this country, they were terribly discriminated against.
Right.
It really like slavery. Another one that's really,
My
really good.
people.
Yeah, your people, your peeps. Jeez, man. All of a sudden you're claiming. Right. The Devil's Own with Brad Pitt. And, yeah, and about the IRA. And of course, you know, nobody thinks of the IRA anymore because that's kind of a, you know, that's yesterday. But those of us who are old enough remember the IRA as being a real force that was, you know, pretty scary because they were into bombing
Yeah.
things. And bombs are
and-
horrible.
And get this, they were so evil that they would bomb pubs.
Yeah, yeah,
Say it ain't so.
yeah,
They
Yeah.
bomb pubs.
yeah.
What would be more heinous than that?
Yeah.
Really.
Maybe bombing
Churches.
an orphanage or
Yeah,
something.
Yeah. Well, another one by David Lean, the great David Lean who made Lawrence of Arabia, also made Ryan's Daughter
Ah.
with Robert Mitchum.
Different
and-
theme.
Oh my gosh, that very, very romantic, very also, I mean, the culture that treats a woman who's an adulteress. Oh, it was very intense.
You have to move to
movie.
Boston.
Yeah, but Robert Mitchum played against character. He played, instead of a sort of sinister, you know, glowering guy, he played a very sweet, loyal husband to Sarah Miles. And man, that was a super romantic movie.
Well, and so with the idea of, you know, characters, name one Irish movie that was a comedy.
Waking the Divine.
Okay.
Boy Eats
I thought I'd have you
Girl.
stumped with that
I
one.
mean, really.
Boy Eats Girl.
Yeah.
That's another one I've missed.
Well, there you are. Boy Eats Girl is a combined Irish and Isle of Man's production.
Yeah.
There's a, you know, part of the production company was based in Ireland, and they did a lot of the filming in the Isle of Man. But it's a funny and very charming zombie love story.
And moving right along.
Yeah, and you rarely get an Irish zombie flick.
Yeah.
I was having a hard time coming up with any Irish movie that was funny.
Well, here's one that's funny, but it's
I mean, it
also,
seemed like it was always
it's also
serious stuff.
super violent, and therefore one of my favorites because it's the Boondock Saints.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, those guys are
not
Irish,
Really,
yeah.
not really set in Ireland,
It's
but in the
Boston,
colony
in the
of Ireland.
Boston,
Boston.
right?
right.
Yeah, but it has the great Billy Connolly, who's actually Scottish, but who cares?
Same thing.
Yeah, I mean, Oh,
No, I
that is
mean,
a,
literally, it is the same
that
thing.
is a
Right.
wonderful movie, and I'll watch that over and over again. I know all the lines to it. It's a super movie. Yeah.
Favorite Irish movie?
Don't think I have one.
It hasn't been made yet.
But
No,
yeah,
Boondock Saints was good.
really good.
So I'm not really sure that an actual Irish movie.
Well,
It's got Irish
it's
people in
Irish
it. Yeah,
people,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Well, Irish themed movies, there's the Wild Geese.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Yeah, the Wild Geese is about mercenaries in Africa.
See, this is why they are the hometown movie guys, because they've seen almost every movie ever made.
Well,
We've
never
seen a
even-
lot of movies, but they make 3,000 a year just in the United States.
yeah.
3,000.
Yeah, and another 3,000 just in India.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So no,
Yeah.
we haven't seen them all. But the Wild Geese, many of the characters are Irish, and the title refers to. We go back to post-Elizabethan Ireland, where the Irish were being squished pretty hard by the Brits. A lot of Irish young fellows left, and they took jobs as soldiers for the Spanish, and they were referred to as the Wild Geese.
Mhm.
Hence, this movie about Irish mercenaries in Africa, title being Wild Geese. It's
Oh, okay.
a historical
Wow,
connection.
that's interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, Braveheart kind
Well,
Scottish?
Scottish.
Well, they had,
Yeah.
they had an
Same
Irish,
neighborhood.
they had an Irish guy in it.
They did, I know.
Can't talk about that.
I believe that's in my list of favorite movies of all time. I
Oh,
really,
yeah.
every time I see it on TV, I was like, okay, I'll
I
watch it
agree.
again.
I agree. And then going back to musicals, Finian's Rainbow with Fred Astaire.
Wow.
Hey, and anything with Fred Astaire, I mean, I'll stop immediately and watch the whole deal, so.
You like the choreography and that kind of thing?
Oh, the penultimate statement on Fred Astaire was made by Mikhail Baryshnikov, no slouch when it comes to dancing,
True.
right? And at the 1981 AFI, American Film Institute Awards, Baryshnikov was giving the Life Award to Fred Astaire. And he goes up and he glowers in that Russian way, and he says, "Oh, we dancers, we hate Fred Astaire because we're dancing and he's doing something else." And it was, I mean, Fred Astaire was really old at that time, and he walks up to the dais to get the award, and he still had the moves. There was just this poetic. Oh, I mean, the man was amazing, and
Right.
yeah, he's my favorite all-time dancer.
Pretty hard to compete with that.
Yeah.
of. See, Highlander. That's
Oh,
Scottish.
that was
too,
Scottish, but you know
too.
what?
Same thing.
It'll go under the umbrella. Yeah, Highlander. Oh,
Well, Celts anyway.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
the word Scotty, where we get Scotland and Scots and all that.
Right.
That goes back to
Starter.
goes back to Roman times, where a tribe moved into what we now refer to as Scotland, whose name was the Scotti, and guess where they came from?
Mhm.
Ireland.
Mhm.
So the Scots are ethnically Irish.
They're all from the same family.
Yeah, I was in a bar in a place called Colander in Scotland one time, and just before noon, having a pick me up, and
Getting some wonderful insight into the world of Andy.
yeah, there was me and a bartender and a guy from Ireland. And I asked the bartender, I looked at the guy from Ireland, I looked at the bartender, and I said, I'm from out of town. Maybe you guys can explain to me the difference between the Scots and the Irish. And these two guys, it was so funny, these two guys just looked at each other and cracked up. And the Irish guy, who's like 11 o'clock in the morning, is drinking vodka.
Ooh.
Straight up.
Yeah.
He looks at the bartender and shakes his head and says, there's no difference at all.
Gotta love it.
Which I thought was, these guys ought to know.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Well,
Yeah.
I'm at a complete loss without using my cheater here. I'm at a complete loss talking about Irish movies.
Well, there's one called My Left Foot, which was Daniel Day-Lewis.
Daniel Day-Lewis,
And
who,
that
by the
was-
way,
yeah,
is Irish.
is Irish, yeah, yeah. And it was a true story of a gentleman who was completely immobilized by, I think, I'm not sure.
Something bad.
Yeah, but he was able to only work with his left foot to create things, to write, and it's a
Daniel
very-
Day-Lewis has taken on some really amazing
Guy.
roles, and he's really lived the part, whether he's playing Lincoln or
Right.
my favorite was Last of the Mohicans.
Yeah.
That's another one of those movies that's way up in my list of favorites. And matter of fact, I'm overdue to watch that one again. I love and it brings me to one other little thing I want to talk about for just a moment, and that is what a huge difference the music track makes for movies. I mean, when you look at John Williams and everything that he did with Star Wars, and I mean, that's some pretty epic stuff that has hung around for a long time, but really, so many of the really great movies had really good music themes to them, music tracks.
Well, we just watched, and it's hard to believe that it's 21 years old now, but Gladiator the other day with, with Russell Crowe and Joaquin Phoenix playing the evil.
And he pulled that part off really
Oh
well.
my gosh, it was so creepy.
Yeah.
And then, just.
Commodus, right?
Yeah, Commodus, and, but the musical score to that, because when it first came out, Hans Zimmer and Lisa Gerrard were the composers. When it first came out, the movie was the paramount focus, but then people started buying the score, and I remember buying the score on CD and just listening to it over and over again until I think my husband wanted to kill me. And but now I'm watching the movie.
That's the excuse he was using? Is
Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But now I'm watching the movie and listening to the score with whole new ears because I know it by heart. I know every single note. Oh my gosh, what an enhancement of. It's a wonderful story.
Well, and we go back to Braveheart,
Yeah.
Last of the Mohicans.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
both those had fantastic scores. Going back even further, A Clockwork Orange. And some of these that actually depended upon, classical scores. And,
Well, 2001: A Space Odyssey had
Amadeus.
Totally Amadeus, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And I really, I think they've done some things, but one of the composers that I think the real story of his life that would make an amazing movie, and I've not heard that it's ever been done, would be Franz Liszt.
Yeah.
Franz Liszt was a very unusual
He was
fellow.
the rock star of his day.
Oh yeah. As a matter of fact, real quick story.
Yeah.
Back in those days, I mean, they really were the top rock star, the equivalent to like maybe our top sports idols or whatever nowadays. I mean, everybody really praised them, and Franz Liszt had gone off to live with a witch in a castle somewhere for a while, and I don't remember the name of the guy that was the up and comer that said, Liszt is gone, he's dead or something, so I'm the new guy. And some of Liszt's friends came to him and said, this guy's saying this, and he's like, poof. And the guy continued to badmouth him, and so finally they both agreed to a duel.
Yep.
And they would both write a piece of music for the other one to play on site. And this other guy wrote a piece, Liszt sat down at the piano, played it on site, played it flawlessly, and handed the other guy his work that this guy was supposed to play on site, and he did. So Liszt at this point is getting a little on the, I think ticked off is the proper term. So he takes both of those scores that each one of them had written, puts them on the keyboard in front of him, and improvises, switching back and forth between the two, and does it all just live. At which point, while he's doing this, the other guy comes up behind him, bows, leaves, and is never seen again. And but I mean, that's only one of the weird
Do we know
stories.
the name of this? The usurper?
I should have done some research. I wasn't even planning on bringing that up, but I think that's one of those another one of those real characters in history that would be in